9 hours after. This is my face 9 hours after. Like, how?
Ah, original, bad man. Ah, and me get this song for them.
Hey dolls, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's the first time I've seen him. My name is Jackie Tijani, or you can just call me JT. So today's tutorial is going to be my sweat-proof, summer heat-proof, hot weather-proof makeup tutorial. But I plan to use all inexpensive and drugstore products. So I do hope you guys will stay tuned to watch this if you like to see it. If you are oily skin like myself and you worry about your makeup during the summer, or if you sweat a lot just like myself and you would like to know how to keep your makeup popping and on point this summer, then just keep on watching. A quick shout out to Payless Extensions for sponsoring this video. This is the hair that I'm rocking. This is not my first time rocking this hair. I'm going to leave an annotation right up there to show you guys my initial review on this hair. This is their Indian natural wave, and what I did today was just straighten the hair, and it's straightened really well. I think I actually like it better straight than when I initially had it. So thanks to them for sponsoring this video. Now let's just jump right into this tutorial. The first thing I always tell anyone that have oily skin and myself is do not forget to moisturize. Back in the days I always associate oily skin and moisturizing as enemies. I always say no, if I have oily skin, I do not need to moisturize, I do not need to cream my face before applying my primer or before applying any oil control product. Back then I thought, because I have oily skin, I do not need to moisturize. I do not need to add anything that has moisture on my skin because I have oily skin. Now that's the total opposite. You want to make sure your face is hydrated. You want to make sure your face is moisturized before going in with any of your mattifying products. Make sure your base, your face is fully moisturized. Because this is an inexpensive and drugstore tutorial, so I'm going to be reaching for things I don't usually use all the time. Usually I will probably grab my Lancome Ultra something, I forgot the name, to moisturize my skin. That's what I use almost all the time, but for today's purpose and for this tutorial, I'll be grabbing the Makeup Revolution Superfruit Extract Serum and Primer. This stuff right here is very moisturizing. It smells super good. So I'm just gonna squirt right there, and this will give me the right moisture that I need. So now I'm just gonna let this set in and kind of dry down before going into my primer. For primer, I'm going to be going in with my CoverGirl Full Spectrum Mattifying Primer. This stuff right here is extremely matte. Personally, to me, it is really matte. So a little goes a long way. You do not want to pack this on. And I actually like to put this on my most problem area. Although I have oily skin basically all over, but my T-zone and like right up here tends to get oily the most. So I like to put this mainly on my most problem area because this stuff right here is extremely mattifying. Again, this is the CoverGirl Full Spectrum Matte Ambition Mattifying Screen Primer plus sunscreen. You need your sunscreen, okay? Don't forget about that. That's the size I'm taking, and I'm just gonna concentrate this mainly on my problem area. Just like the moisturizer, I'm going to let this sit in on my face for a little bit before moving on to the next step. Now my skin has absorbed everything that I've placed on my skin right now, so I am good to go. At this point, what I do is just take my matte foundation. You will never see me use a dewy foundation or a skin-like foundation just because I have oily skin. This is just my own personal preference. I like to stick to a matte foundation just because I know I have oily skin. And if my clients have oily skin, I like to stick to a matte foundation. Yes, I have moisturized. Yes, I have used a primer. Some believe once they've done all of this, they can then move into a dewy foundation, but personally it doesn't work for me, so I always tend to reach for a matte foundation. I'm just gonna mention a few of my favorite drugstore and inexpensive foundation, and then I'll tell you guys which foundation I'll be using for this tutorial. The first foundation I'm going to tell you guys is Maybelline Matte and Poreless Fit Me foundation. This was the first foundation that I felt that is a matte finish that I fell in love with. This right here was my all-time favorite drugstore foundation to use. It's inexpensive, obviously. It's matte, it does the work, it has full coverage, and it comes in a lot of shades. So this right here is one of my favorites, and I use the shade 338 Spicy Brown. Another new favorite that I just recently fell in love with is the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop. Now with this one right here, you have to be extremely careful because it is a very, very matte foundation. It is extremely matte. When I wear this foundation, I do not use any primer. I only use moisturizer. That's how matte, that's how drying this foundation is. So I will leave an annotation right up there so you guys can go to my review on this foundation. I use the shade Cappuccino. I used to use the shade Cappuccino. I loved it. I tried the Warm Mahogany and I love this better. I love the undertone better than the Cappuccino. Another drugstore and inexpensive foundation is the CoverGirl Matte Ambition All Day Shine Free Foundation. This is their newest foundation. This is from the Full Spectrum line. The Full Spectrum Matte Ambition Foundation, I use the shade 325 Tan Golden. Today I will be using the Juvia's Place I Am Magic Foundation. I'm using this mainly because my initial review on this foundation, some people complained that my lighting was too much or the exposure was too bright. Yes, it was too bright. I think I was just too excited to try it. I did not bother to check, my settings and all that. I hope this is better right now, but right now it's on 500, so I think that's better. In my initial review, I used the shade Gabon 300, but today I'll be using the shade 320 Zaria. As you guys know, a little goes a long way. So, taking the foundation brush from Juvia's Place, and I'm just gonna buff that in. I cannot stress this enough. This foundation is flawless. Like, whew, Jesus. Highlight, I'll be taking the Juvia's Place I Am Magic Concealer, and this is the shade 13. I'm taking the Juvia's Place I Am Magic Concealer. This is the shade number 3. I am patiently waiting for Juvia's Place to release their setting powder because I just know the setting powder is just going to complete the entire thing. But in the meantime, I'll be taking the Sacha Buttercup setting powder. This is also inexpensive. I'll be using the same damp beauty sponge. You guys remember I said my most problem area is like around my nose, so I always like to add a little extra of the setting powder for my concealer just around there, and I let that sit for a little bit. In the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and set my entire face. Yes, I still have to set my entire face again because this is the Sweatproof, Oily Proof, Summer Heat Proof makeup tutorial. So I'm gonna set my entire face using a matte powder as well. This is the CoverGirl Matte Ambition Face Powder. This is the shade Tan Deep Cool 360. Alright, another trick. Because I do get oily on my brows, as time goes on during the day, I always like to take a little bit of my Sacha Buttercup setting powder and I just like to type it right on top of my brows directly. Alright, so at this point, this is what my face looked like without setting it. Back in the days, again, I used to feel like setting your face will make you, get oily, will make you get dewy and all that stuff. But right now, looking dewy, looking fresh, looking, yummy is what's in. It's it's what looks better. Matte right now looks good. I'm not saying it doesn't look good, but again, by the time I set it, by the time I had my glow, then everything will just come together. Because I already moisturized, I already, applied my primer, I use a matte foundation and matte powder, all that matte. I need to set it. I need to make it look, refreshing. I need to make it look like everything, like the setting spray just kind of marries everything together. It kind of make everything loosen up so that they don't look like they are carrying their shoulder up. Setting your face, even with oily skin, is very, very important, okay? And my best and my favorite drugstore setting spray right now is the Milani Make It Last setting spray. It just does it for me. Alright, this is the completed look. So I'm gonna wear this, for the entire day just so that you guys can see what it looks like. Right now it is currently 12:16 p.m. I'm going to wear this for the entire day, and then I'll be right back. And then I'll be back to show you guys, what it looks like for a couple of hours. I'm going to be in the kitchen. I'm going to be out and about, and then we'll see if this really holds up to Atlanta heat and my oily skin and all that good stuff. Okay, I'll be right back. Alright, y'all, I am back, and right now I just got home just now. It is 9:19. I don't even think you guys can see it. Right there. That's the time right now. It is 9:19 p.m. And that brings us to how many hours? I was done my makeup around like 12:15-ish. So that's, I can't think, it's been a long day. 9 hours. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, something like that. So this is my face 9 hours after I have cooked in my face. I have gone to the mall. I went to Sephora. I went to like Burlington, Ross, some dress stores. I'm looking for dresses for my little sister for her graduation. And so I've been out and about, and I have actually been outside. So looking at my face with this foundation, on camera you guys can't really see anything, but I see a little bit, just a little bit of oil slipping through, in my problem area. Now this is 9 hours of wear. This is probably like the longest I will wear makeup for, 9 hours, and I think 9 hours is a very good time. But if my face looked like this 9 hours after, this is good. At this point, this is about to be my favorite foundation because I do love how it doesn't feel heavy, it doesn't feel kicky, yet it's matte. It's not all the way matte, it's very matte. However, I still feel like I'm not oily, I'm not greasy. I can still feel the matteness in it. But anyways, I do hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I do hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Thank you so much for watching as always, dolls, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.